Hello, hello, good evening, and welcome back to another episode of Take Me Down a Rabbit Hole, where we talk, as we do in our regular videos, about science, philosophy, history, religion, everything in between, but really, we're getting up to date on everything that's going on in the world today. So, just a quick update. I have a very, very important video coming, and it's going to be about the four Marian dogmas. And there's a really big shift about to happen, a really big shift. Pope Leo the 14th is the new Pope of the Catholic Church. And if you're unfamiliar, he has come out to say that Jesus alone saved the world and that he rejects the titles of Mary as the co-redeemer and the co-mediatrix of our salvation. And the reason why this is very important, and I know that Catholics will disagree, but the entire faith of the Catholic Church relies on the worship of Mary, Mary, the mother of Jesus. And so then to take her titles away from her and say that she is not who the Catholic Church says that she is will cause the entire Catholic Church to crumble. And I will prove that with evidences from their own doctrinal text. So stay tuned for that. I should have that out about Tuesday, if not Monday. But let me go over this just a little bit. So this is an article regarding what Pope Leo has said. Okay. A decree from Pope Leo's office firmly rejects the claim that Mary, Jesus' mother, helped save the world from damnation, settling a debate that has baffled the Catholic community by stating that Jesus alone redeemed humanity by his crucifixion and death. A lengthy note titled Mother of the Faithful People of God, the Vatican's doctrinal office instructed Catholics to no longer give her the title of co-redemptrix or co-redeemer, as it carries the risk of eclipsing the exclusive role of Jesus Christ as the Savior. The October 7th document was approved by Pope Leo XIV and signed by Cardinal Victor Manuel Ferdinand, and says that the previous titles create confusion of the truths of the Christian faith. So once again, this is them admitting that this is what their faith is based on. This is a quote, she is the mother who gave the world, the author of redemption and grace, who stood firm at the foot of the cross, suffering alongside her son and offering the pain of her maternal heart pierced by the sword. The document said, from the incarnation to the cross and the resurrection, she was united to Christ in a way that is unique and that far surpasses any believer. Mary's incomparable greatness lies in what she has received and in trusting readiness to allow herself to be overtaken by the Spirit. The note claims that Mary was the first and perfect disciple of Jesus, according to the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. Okay. Now, this is where the schism comes in, because this is Pope 14th. He came in, he's the only Pope that has ever been from US soil. He's got this weird, I'm not gonna say weird mix like in a bad way, but he's got this mix of Black Creole, French, Spanish, which is something that is not seen in the Catholic faith because, of course, they come from Latin countries. They migrated to Rome and they have been, how do I say this? They've been They've been reigning from there. I'll just say it like that. They've been reigning from there. So the issue comes in, this is Bishop Athanasius Snyder. I don't know. Okay. He's a bishop and he has an issue with this. So this is where the schism is coming in within the, so this is going to be big, y'all. This is going to be real big. I don't know what's going to happen from here, but this is Bishop Athanasius Snyder. He's speaking out regarding the Vatican's new doctrinal note on Mary's titles. Okay. Just one more quote from Pope Leo. He says, given the necessity of explaining Mary's subordinate role to Christ in the work of redemption, it is always inappropriate to use the title of co-redemptrix to define Mary's cooperation. This title risks obscuring Christ's unique salvic mediation and can therefore create confusion and imbalance in the harmony of the truths of the Christian faith, or kind of already covered this. There is salvation in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given among men by which we must be saved. When an expression requires many repeated explanations to prevent it from straying from a correct meaning, it does not serve the faith of the people of God and becomes unhelpful. In this case, the expression co-redemptrix does not help extol Mary as the first and foremost collaborator in the work of redemption and grace, for it carries the risk of eclipsing the exclusive role of Jesus Christ, the Son of Man, made for our salvation, who was the only one capable of offering a father a sacrifice of infinite value, which would not be a true honor to his mother. Indeed, as the handmaid of the Lord, which is from Luke 1:38, Mary directs us to Christ and asks us to do whatever he tells you. Okay, so now we have Bishop Athanasius coming back, okay, and he's got something to say about it. And this is very important. Once again, this is very important because if you've ever even talked to someone in the Catholic Church or even watched their debates, I have watched many, many religious debates between Protestants and Catholics. And they try to pull the wool over your eye by saying that they, one, do not worship Mary, that they do not give prayers to Mary. And that's just not true. Okay. And again, I'm going to show you all in their own doctrine that that's not true. But here we go. It says, over the course of time, this is from Bishop Athanasius, over the course of time, the ordinary magisterium, together with numerous saints and doctors of the church, have taught the Marian doctrines of co-redemption and mediation, employing, among other expressions, the specific titles co-redemptrix and mediatrix of all graces. Consequently, it cannot be maintained that the ordinary magisterium, along with the saints and doctors of the church over so many centuries, could have led the faithful astray through a consistently inappropriate use of these Marian titles. Okay, so this is getting saucy. This is getting saucy because, again, if what Pope Leo XIV is saying is true, then the Catholic Church has to admit that they've been leading people astray for centuries. For centuries, y'all. Moreover, throughout the ages, this Marian doctrine and the use of these titles have also expressed the sense of faithful of the faithful. Therefore, by adhering to the traditional teaching of the ordinary magisterium regarding co-redemption and mediation, and by recognizing the legitimacy of the titles of co-mediatrix and mediatrix of all graces, the faithful do not depart from the right path of faith, nor from a sound and well-informed piety towards Christ and his mother. He's written a long something to say. Okay, but that's the crux of it. So I want y'all to stay tuned. I want you to read along. This is going to be one of those videos where you get your Bible and you read along so that you can see what's being said and understand it and decide for yourself who's telling the truth on this. Who's telling the truth? Hey, how's it going? It's going good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, just trying to stay consistent, trying to get these writings and stuff out. Um, I guess trying to get a real schedule going to get these videos out. So I appreciate the asking. I hope you're doing well as well. Says, I think I might have had enough social media today. Saw some woman twerking in front. You know what? Let me read the rest of your comment. Twerking in front of the dead person casket at the funeral. What the F is wrong with my generation? We have no morals or self-respect. Do you know I just saw that video probably about 15 minutes before I got on this live? And there are people in the comments that are, they're saying it's a celebration. I don't know who this man was to her, but when I tell you she was busting it open for the casket, and there was a poor child, if y'all haven't seen it, there was a poor child that you could see in the front. And he's just looking like what? He's looking like what the F too. There are no morals and no self-respect. And if you say anything about it, then they look at you like you're the one that's crazy. I've never even, I was talking to my best friend the other day, and I was asking her how homecoming was. And she says she saw so much ASS walking around. It was disgusting. She said everybody's cheeks were just out. And, we were joking. We're like, well, maybe we're getting old because, that stuff is disgusting, but it's just never been my thing. It never just been my thing to just, be all out like that. But these people have no shame whatsoever. And they'll do it around children. They'll do it around their grandparents. They'll do it around their parents. Matter of fact, I saw, and I don't know if she meant to do it. I don't know if she meant to do it, but they had a clip of Adam Sandler on the red carpet and he was, I don't know what he was celebrating. I don't know what he's got coming out. I think they've got Grown Ups or something, another sequel to that. But he was there with his daughter. And when I tell you, baby's dress was see-through, areolas just all out. And I'm like, how could you just go out with your daddy like that? And again, I don't know if she knew, because sometimes ladies, when we get into certain light, stuff shows a little differently than when you're in your bathroom at the house. So I don't know, but yeah, I saw that video, and I'm just so, and this is what I hate, because then you get into the comments and people are like, oh, typical. It's not typical. It's not typical. Not not every person of that color or that culture is doing that. A lot of us find that disgusting. And again, and it's not just people who look like her either. It's not just her. I think I told y'all the other day I was doing a report. I was working. I was doing a report, sitting in the car, and I saw this lady. She was I don't even know if she was older, to be honest. She might just have looked older, but she came out of the gas station, and she had like this almost like a training bra top, because she didn't have a lot of breasts. She had like a training bra top on with some boy shorts, like the women's drawers that look like boy shorts. She had those on. And I was like, ma'am. Or when they're jogging, jogging down the street, down the sidewalk, they don't ever have any clothes on. And then if you say, ma'am, if somebody jump on you because you looking scrumptious, then you get called out for victim blaming. So it's a double-edged sword, because you can't tell people to protect themselves, because they don't want to hear that. And they say, well, you should teach your sons to not disrespect women. And I agree, but people wouldn't be criminals. You know what I'm saying? Like, people wouldn't, what am I trying? You can't teach a criminal to not be a criminal. You can tell them all till you're blue in the face, but there's going to be some people that just do not care. And they're going to do what they want to do. And sometimes what they want to do is harm you and take from you and violate you. And people just have to understand that. And I don't know what it is with people these days with that notion that, oh, I don't have to protect myself. You need to just do well. Again, I agree. But if that was the case, there would be, listen, if that was the case, we would need a savior. Like, if we could all just do good, and we wouldn't need a savior. So no, I saw that. I'm upset about that too. I'm definitely upset about that too. It is crazy. No, it's all good. It's all good. I don't want to I'm kind of just using that to preface what we're going to talk about in the next video, because yeah, you said I'm gonna get in on my scriptures. My bad. No, we're definitely going to go into depth about this, but I wanted to talk a little bit about this because it's going to be stuff that I'm not adding in the video. I'm not going to talk about Pope Leo's, thoughts and stuff on this. I'm literally going to use their doctrine to bring this information to the table so that no one can say, oh, you just made that up. You just, because no, not at all. Hey there. Miss Sarah, you said I haven't read the Bible in a while. That's understandable, right? Because it's really just understandable. I've been really trying to do the whole reading through the Bible in the mornings and just really trying to stay prayed up, because there's been times when I've gotten away from, not reading the Bible. But there's so much information in it, and I don't know, it just has so many gems in it, even just for regular day life. I know people, they just see it as a bunch of stories. But how do I say this? It really is a lamp to your feet, is what I'm trying to say. It really is a lamp to your feet when you see what it's a mirror for us. We're able to read it and look in it and see ourselves in it. We can see kind of what we're doing wrong, what we can do right. And yeah, so, but I can understand that. But I hope you are doing well. It's good to see you. They changed this app a little bit. So excuse me if I'm moving a little slow. He said, I was out teaching the Bible earlier with someone for about 2 hours going in on current events, but this is definitely an evil generation. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, you can definitely, I hate when people, like, how are people still of the mindset that it's a book of fairy tales? That's what I don't understand. I always see it in the comments, and people always have their little slide remarks, and I always reply back, fairy tales don't come true. You have to explain to us why the book of Revelation is coming to fruition as it's written. And I never get a response back. Not ever have I gotten a response back, because there's no way that you can read it and say that it's made up. And that actually brings me into the conversation about Tamar. If you didn't see it, I actually put a little short out for you all to view, but I went in, I put a little bit more in depth on the Patreon. But if you're not familiar, Tamar Braxton, she's a singer. She's one of the younger sisters of Toni Braxton. And she came out on a podcast with this transgender by the name of T.S. Madison. And she claimed that she was a liberal Christian. And By liberal Christian, it pretty just means that you decide that instead of using the doctrine of the Bible, you're going to use the doctrine of the world, you know, in so short of words. And she starts going into about how she goes to psychics and mediums and different things like that. And, you know, this is what the world, this is what the Bible calls the great falling away. It's when people rather have itching ears and hear what makes them feel good rather than what God has to say. And it's very disappointing actually, because her dad was a pastor, and I can kind of see where her family might have been turned away from the faith just because her dad was someone who was a philanderer, you know, sleeping with a bunch of women. And I think he ended up leaving their family for another woman and all that kind of stuff. And so I know people get church hurt, you know, something called church hurt, where they see so much going on in the church that they, for whatever reason, think it's the same as doctrine. You know, they feel like maybe the doctrine teaches that, and or so many people stray away from the doctrine that, I don't know, it's just a weird thing. Because I always say, you know, if someone is singing a song off key, do you blame the songwriter? No, you don't, because it's supposed to be sung in a certain key, but the person's just not hitting the notes right. So I feel like it's kind of the same as that. Like, you don't blame people for misusing doctrine. You know, you read the doctrine as it is for itself. But anyway, people don't understand the spirit. Um, yeah, people just don't understand the spirit. I guess I have a lot to say. It's just how I want to word it. When you're using psychics and things like that, you have to use evil spirits for that. I saw someone in the comments say, and I don't know if it was on one of my videos or if it was on another part of social media, but they were saying, well, Christianity is all witchcraft. No, I think it was on one of my videos. I define witchcraft. Define witchcraft. Because if you pay attention to the definition, then you would know that it's something that comes from something other than God. I have a lot to say. I don't know if my thoughts are all together, but psychics have to use lying spirits. When you start delving into what divination is, it'll tell you it's always referring to false prophets. Did y'all see the other day that Kim Kardashian she got upset because a psychic told her that she was going to pass the bar exam and she didn't pass it? Did y'all see that? I don't know how I can get to, I think I clipped, here we go. No, that's not it. I hate that they changed this app, because I don't know where to find, so I could show you all what she had to say. But she even out her mouth was like, lying spirits. She's upset now because the psychic lied to her. And unbeknownst to her, the whole psychic itself is a lying spirit. See, this is why these people are so confused. This is why they're so mixed up. Because they do not know what they're practicing. They don't even know what they believe in. Greetings. They don't even know what they believe in. And so that's why you have somebody like Tamar, who's so up and down, so up and down. She's always got some type of issue. She's always unstable. One minute she's telling you that she reads the Bible. Next minute she's telling you she don't read the Bible. She's got a lying spirit. And when you look into the definition of mediumship, a medium, someone who has to contact, someone who's in between you and the spirit world, pretty much. They're like the liaison between you and the spirit world. So when you see, I don't know why it just popped in my head, but if you've ever seen the movie The Others, I don't know why that was the first movie that popped in, because there's so many different, um, stuff that you can watch where this stuff is in it. But when they're doing these seances and things like that, and they're trying to call up these certain spirits to speak, that's what that is. That's their job. And shoot, or even what's that movie with Whoopi Goldberg? Ghost. Remember the movie Ghost? And she was supposed to be the one contacting all the dead spirits so that their loved ones could speak to them. That type of stuff. You literally have to invoke dead spirits, or spirits from how some of these mystery school initiates contacting spirits from different planets and stuff. This is literally what you have to do. Instead of using the Spirit of God, instead of asking him the question that you need to ask, the person who knows everything, the person who created, instead of asking him, you go and start asking the ancestors and all that crap. The Bible says the dead know nothing. They're asleep. They don't remember anything from the time that they were in the land of the living. And then sometimes when people do encounter psychics that might have a little bit of information and stuff on them, a lot of them are dealing with what's called a familiar spirit. A familiar spirit is one that stays in your family and it's with you from generation to generation. So they know Uncle Bob, they know Aunt Sarah. They know all these things and they just follow along. So they're able to tell you stuff like that. But once again, these aren't spirits from the living. And it's also known as the spirit of, I keep wanting to say the spirit of the serpent, but it's a serpent spirit. And we all know who the serpent is. So, but again, this is who they put in front of us. Because there's so many, because how many people I don't know if y'all know any, but there's so many people, especially the darker skinned people, who believe that the Bible is the white man's book. Or they always are referencing ancestor worship. So you've got so many people that are going to feel the way that Tamar feels. And then little by little, you just got them falling away. Anyway, let me stop rambling about that. He said, every time I prayed to win a jackpot, I always lost an uncomfortably large sum of money. I stopped praying when gambling altogether. I see that gambling is so addictive. I'll say that. I can see that gambling is so addictive. I think they need to have a separate line for lottery lottery ticket buyers because they spend so much time buying tickets. Okay. Anyway, I'm not gonna get on that, but um, they always talk about the curse of lottery winners. And I don't know if it's because there's an actual curse attached to it or if it's really just, you come into such a large amount of money all of a sudden and you don't know what to do with yourself. I really don't know. Um, but I guess it is a form of casting lots. Which I guess would be a form of divination, but I'm not sure. Um, but I can imagine because how else are they able to pay such large amounts of money if people aren't, like you say, spending uncomfortably large sums of money to even play? I mean, people go into debt doing this stuff. But mm, he said, I don't think we're there. I think we're in the fig tree generation. Well, I think it's an ongoing process. I think the falling away is an ongoing process. Um, Now, when it says there's going to be a great falling away, you best believe there's going to be a time where you're just going to see a large. Again, I don't know. I don't know if we're. I think we're in it. I don't know if we're far off from it. I mean, look how many people. And I guess I'm thinking about Aleister Crowley right in this second because, he, as I showed y'all, or what he's saying, even from when he was a young child, he knew he was the beast 666. And as he got older, look at the things that he started promoting and look how many people have followed him. And look how many people have gone into these mystery schools trying to get to the Philosopher's Stone. Because this is what it's all about. This is all that it's all about. They're all trying to get the secret formula to eternal life. But their concept of getting there has to deal with learning and knowing all the goods and evils of life. But there are so many people following after that lifestyle. Everybody's trying to be gods. Not everybody. Not everybody. But a great deal of people think they're gods and or are trying to be gods. And that's a falling away in itself. Because now you have apostatize yourself. Process of they think they're apotheosis, if you've ever heard of that. It means pretty much to become God. They think that that's possible. Because they don't think that Jesus has always been God. They think that he attained godship. And so they think they can do it too. But even Crowley spoke of a time where there's going to, every new age religion has spoken about it actually, where there's going to be this great big shift in the consciousness of people. And so I don't know if there's an even bigger shift coming, but I definitely can see the shift. I can definitely see it. Oh, I can't scroll. What's going on? He said, "Yep, I remember her saying that madness, straight madness. I know people in the truth, sis, who used to believe in the Bible. I looked up to now, and it's crazy. Is teaching crazy new age doctrine like chakras open. Yeah. And honestly, it's really because they never believed. They never believed. I was watching, I don't know whose channel it was, but they showed Yolanda Adams, the gospel singer Yolanda Adams. And her doctrine was so all over the place. And she was one of those God can be a she and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, you've been singing gospel for how many years and you still don't know the gospel? How does that even work? What have you been doing all this time to where you don't even know the theology, the correct theology of God? And yet you're singing, so-called singing his praises to everybody. You got all these Grammy Awards and all that stuff. Foolishness. And yeah, I see it. And you see it, and you see it all the time. You see, oh, so and so from, this mega church just denounced Christ. You see it all over. And then what does that do for the people that have been in the congregation? If they're not strong in their faith, then they go along with it. They fall away too. And then you got a lot of these pastors and stuff playing around in the pulpit. You got the Mike Todds and all that kind of stuff. I was actually, when I was reading the Bible the other morning, and we're actually talking about the relationship between David and Jonathan. We're actually reading those passages where, David and Jonathan were really close. And there are so many pastors in these mega churches that will say, oh, well, David and Jonathan, they were lovers, trying to make it as though their friendship was a homosexual relationship. As if the Lord will then take that and promote it to us and have Jesus come through the line of that. I mean, he's used some people, right? He's used Moses, who was a murderer. He's used a lot of people. I mean, obviously, David was a man of war. That's the reason why he wasn't able to build the temple. His son Solomon had to do it. But I don't think he would have, not something that he calls an abomination. I don't think he would have had him come through that. So yeah, and this is where let me say this. These new age teachings, if you do not rightly divide the word, it sounds good. It sounds scientific. It sounds like the truth, or it would be the truth. But because when you think about it, what would be wrong with yoga? What would be, because a lot of people, oh, it's just stretching, it's just exercising, and I'm being calm and I'm looking within myself. It doesn't sound like a bad thing until you actually read the doctrine of where it comes from, and then they give you a little bit more insight about what it really is about. So in some instances, I don't blame people because, again, it sounds good, but it only sounds good when you don't know the scriptures. Third eye madness. Yeah. I said, whoa, that's crazy. There's so many people we knew who were teaching the truth about God. Now he claims to be God. He reads Aleister Crowley books and encourages it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And that there's no way that you can, you know, The stuff that I've showed you all about Aleister Crowley is the surface level stuff. This man delved into some nasty, nasty things. You know, we haven't even talked about the John Moneys and those type of teachings, that part of sex magic and rituals. So to be promoting that and encouraging it, these people don't know what they're getting into. And third eye, man, I so wish I can find, and I always, whenever it comes to my mind, I always try to search for it, but I still haven't found it yet. But there's a lady who did this really immense documentary about, I want to say it was Hatha yoga, but she might have included some other types of yoga in there. And she was literally showing the people that were practicing this stuff and how they went crazy. Because again, the whole point of the whole chakra system is to raise the Kundalini spirit, which is the serpent, up the chakras from the base of the spine up to your third eye. And then, from there. But again, we're talking about a false light. And this is what a lot of people leave out about who Lucifer is, about who Satan is, the devil. It's the same thing. It's the same person. That the Bible says that the enemy is here to steal, kill, and destroy. And so although they might make it seem like, oh, he's so great because he's given us or open our eyes to all this knowledge, they forget the end of it is death. And if you notice, a lot of people that go through these mystery schools and stuff, they die horrible deaths. They go crazy because they're opening their minds to too many things, too many spirits. So yeah, that's just crazy. And I get it. Like, people want to have knowledge and all that. Sorry, I didn't show this comment. They want to have knowledge and all that kind of stuff, but it matters the type of knowledge that you're gaining and who you're getting it from. The devil turns on all these people and they forget that. They don't know that. They think it's just going to be one big party. But he turns on you. And he raided a church and said, I'm God and coming back to do something. But all these celebrities definitely be into Satanism and worship Baphomet. Oh, he was raised in the church. Yeah. And so I think I was about to say this earlier. We are partly to blame for what we don't know, especially when the word is written and we're able to go and read it. We're actually still in a country where you're able to read it. In UK, they're shutting that mess down. There's different countries where they're shutting that mess down. Or I don't know why I said mess. They're shutting down the ability to read the Bible and to be Christian. But I also blame the churches as well. Because a lot of people, they go to the church and they want answers, especially to the difficult things that they're reading in the Bible. Sometimes, something might not make sense to you. And so you want to be in church. You want to be there. But there's nobody there that can answer your questions. And so you start thinking that there are no answers. And then you stop going and you stop, having faith. And so you start turning to someone who you feel can give you the answers. In some kind of crazy way, you think it's Lucifer. But yeah, they're definitely into it. They're definitely into it. And I'm hearing a lot more celebrities come out and are really honest about what they are experiencing in the industry and what they've had to turn down and in order to keep their soul intact. But there's a lot of Baphomet worship going on. A lot of Baphomet worship going on. I said exactly. Yeah. I don't trust anyone who plays with spirits. A chick on a bar found out real quick. Oh, yeah, you can't. I mean, you really just can't. Because here's another thing. These spirits start talking to these people and telling them to do things. Because once again, just like God has an end goal that he would love all his people to get to, so does Satan and his minions who follow him. They have a task too, and they have an agenda too. They have an end goal as well. And so when you start dibbling and dabbling with all these different spirits, at first it seems like all fun and games, and they might be doing things that you want them to do, and you're getting all this fame, you're getting all this money and whatnot. But then they start talking to you about the agenda that's really up. And again, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And so he starts talking to you about taking from people. He starts talking to you about needing blood. He starts talking to you about all this kind of stuff. And sometimes these people are not strong enough to not listen to that voice, especially when they're in tough predicaments. I don't remember what celebrity that was. I can't remember what celebrity was pretty much pinpointing this, but he was like, at first you're not going for it. The devil's coming to you. He's asking you, propositioning you, and you're denying him and sending him away. But then there comes a time where you might be low on money, you might be low on food, or you just want, and you're sitting in that room and it's dark and you just thinking and contemplating to yourself. And then all of a sudden that proposition starts sounding good. So yeah, I wouldn't either, because they definitely start talking to these people. And then you have to wonder, and if it's not true, then why are all these people telling us that they're talking to spirits from Mars and from Jupiter and from Venus and from Saturn? And why do they all have the same agenda? Why are they all telling us the same thing? Even if we don't believe it, even if that's not our faith, you have to acknowledge that they are all saying and doing the same thing. And they say that they learned it from so-and-so, from these different planets. Crazy. I told y'all about a crazy lady in Louisiana talking about my aura and wanting to issue me a blessing of love. I told her I got a backhand that blesses when I smack the ish out of somebody. Yeah, I mean, but for real, it sounds good. But you can't be you cannot accept blessings from everybody because they're not really blessing. If you did y'all see that clip with what's his name? Anton LaVey? It's one of the shorts I just posted this week. And he's doing the hands of cornuto to the crowd, and the host is like, "What are you doing?" He's like, I'm blessing the crowd." But it's really not a blessing. It's really a curse. But again, these people need permission in order to do these things. And I don't know, y'all. Discernment is very key, and it's very important to stay prayed up. There's a lot of witches that have come out to say that they cannot curse the praying Christian. There's even been people to come out and say that the praying Christian, their light around them is so bright that they can't even be looked upon. So even if they want to turn towards you and try to do something bad to you, they couldn't even do it because your light is too bright. So, I mean, that's definitely something to think about. Yep, people are definitely going towards doctrines of devils mentioned in 2 Timothy and teaching weird doctrines in these last days. Yeah. Because nobody wants to offend. Excuse me. Nobody wants to offend anybody. Because somehow love has been turned into, you can lie in order to spare someone's feelings, or you don't respect someone if you don't let them do what it is that they want to do or believe that they want to believe, or really it's just turning into the point where everything is going to have to be inclusive. You're not going to be allowed to discriminate against anybody for, because you don't agree with what they believe in. Like, having discernment will get you locked up in a lot of places, unfortunately. There's a guy over in the UK, I believe it's in the UK right now. He wants to ban all the passages in the Bible that he thinks are hateful. And of course, you already know that a lot of those passages that he wants to be banned is about homosexuality. But the fact of the matter is, who are you to say what's hateful? Because these words are written to help and to protect us. I was watching a little clip earlier today, and I probably had seen it before, but it was about these. It was a debate between women and trans women. And one of the trans women, and I y'all know me, I say it loosely, but just for the sake of conversation, one of the trans women asked the woman, what was conservatism all about? What did it mean to be conservative? And she pretty much said that as a conservative, what she does is she notices, she sees rules, and she was speaking from the Bible aspect. She sees the rules, the commandments, and then instead of trying to find ways to knock them down and tear them down, she asks herself why they are there in the first place. See, we've become a generation where they're trying to tear down every barrier, or what they call a hedge. They try to tear down every hedge that's up, that's actually there to protect us. Like, see, on the other side of the hedge are serpents and snakes. And so by tearing that hedge down, we are subject to being bitten. And see, we know that, but the liberal people, they don't know that. And so they just think, oh no, rules. Oh no, tear them down. Submission. We don't do that. Tear them down. But we're asking ourselves, well, wait a minute. Why is that there in the first place? They think it's for harm. But we know that it's there to preserve our life. Everything that the enemy wants leads to death. The Lord said to choose the path of life. So, but I don't know. People want to die. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Gambling is witchcraft. That's what I'm thinking. I guess like when you really, break it down and stuff. Because I really want to say it is about a lot. And then you got the number. I don't know. You got the numbers. I don't know. I want to see if I can find something that kind of really ties it in. Which he was paid off to do, but it's definitely a lot of people falling away from the truth. Yeah. And I don't know. I really just don't even understand how people can sit in some of these churches. It's not every church, but some of these churches, the pastor is playing around in the pulpit, but yet you continuously attend and he plays more games. He plays more games. I saw this one guy. I really wish, man, I hate that they changed this little app because I don't know where to go to present some of these images to y'all. But there was a pastor that he had went viral this past week because I think he had given this lady some money that she really needed. I don't know if she needed her rent paid or food or something. But anyways, he ended up giving her money and she praised God for it. And this man got upset. He was like, how dare she praise God when I'm the one that gave her the money? And do you know this fool had the nerve to be in the comments talking about I went viral? He's so interested in being a skeptic. He's so, my goodness. Instead of doing what he's supposed to be doing for the Lord and helping his congregation or whatever have you, he's so worried about going viral for the wrong reasons. For the wrong reasons. You say everything is witchcraft, dummy. Oh, man. I don't see that. I see more people coming to truth. Folks are having conversations that didn't have 10 years ago. Now, I can agree with that as well. I think there are a lot of people that are coming into the truth. I can agree with that. And I think there's a lot of people that are doing a really good job defending the word. They are doing a really, really good job of it. Again, I've kind of mentioned the Speaker's Corner. I believe that they're out of the UK, and there's a guy named Orlando. He's one of the main guys. I think it's his group that he takes out there to debate. But they do a really good job against the Islam doctrine. Sheik Logic or his channel is called God Logic. He does a really good job doing apologetics against the Islam. Again, I see that a lot of really good debates against Catholicism. And there's a lot of people that are doing what they can. And And that's what we're supposed to be doing. I know people try to tell us, oh, you're not supposed to be, pretty much, do your faith inside the house. No, it says that we should always be ready to give an answer for why we hope and believe in the Lord. And I really wish of a lot more churches would equip people in that aspect. Because again, I think that's where we're lacking. I think that's where we're lacking. The occult is actually what brought me to Christ. I previously wanted to study world religions and stuff like the mysteries. Those folks believe what they practice that should say everything. Wow. Okay. Wow. I mean, that's good. That's good to, that. So what exactly, I guess, turned you from that? I'm actually glad that there's a hate for Jesus, Muhammad, and Buddha. Don't get what's that say. Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of hate for Jesus. Oh, you said what's that say? Yeah. Oh, but they don't. Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah. There's not hate for Muhammad and Buddha. No, exactly. And I think a lot of people bring that up as well. And I think a lot of people are seeing that. Even the ones that don't believe, they're like, wait a minute. Why are the Christians always being the ones getting picked on? And so, yeah, they're definitely, um, I think that's turning a lot of people towards Christ as well. Because they're like, okay, what's to this? What's this all about? And I remember watching what my teacher said when they were out teaching when they were younger at a time, older now, but it was actual members of Freemason Rosicrucian order who tried to pay. Oh, they were trying to pay to oh, that's pretty cool though. I didn't even know that they go out there and even have conversations with people like that. Them off to teach what the Rosicrucians want and a watered down version of what Christ wanted, and they decline that offer. But Satanists like the OTO Kabbalah are definitely paying people to teach. Um, yeah, they try to act like there's no apologetics in those type of faiths, but there actually are. They want to act like the Christians are the only ones that are evangelizing, but no, no, no. They're definitely evangelizing in their own way, or else they wouldn't be putting out their symbolism. They wouldn't be, when Christians are out there preaching and all that kind of stuff, they wouldn't be out there trying to tear down their signs and debate them. Like, you're not fooling us. Teach, beloved, teach. Lies and deception. Yeah, he used to teach the Bible. He got kicked out. And after that, he bugged out and just had a legion of demons on him. And that's how he got into Crowley, and astral projections and stuff. Wow. Wow. That's actually pretty sad. Because you can tell, I mean, the demons definitely took advantage at that point. They saw him low, they saw him weakened, and they just took advantage. Wow. That's pretty sad. Hey, hey, Freddie B. What's going on? Hope all is well with you. Um, Hold on, I gotta scroll up. It said He raided a church, like put spray paint, my bad sis, on it, and now I'm sure they're gonna blame us for it. We had nothing to do with him. He chose that path of darkness. Yeah. Like I said, yeah, I mean, well, I should say, like I said, like the Bible says, the people that turn away, they were never really there. They were never really with the Lord. Because there's no way that you can be convinced, heart, mind, and soul, and then turn away like that. And that's why it's very important to have a reason, for why you believe. Yeah. Faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of God. He said, did you see the video of Spike Lee acting like a Sambo in front of the Pope? No, I don't know if you talked about it or not. No, I didn't see it. Oh my goodness. I didn't see it. Hold on, let me look up something, right? I don't know Spike Lee's faith. So I don't know why in the heck he would be doing that. These people are just, I don't want to say pathetic, but it's just pathetic what they do. What they do. It's like, are you even Catholic? I guess is what's going on in my mind. I don't even know if what they'll put on here. But no, I didn't see it. I saw hopefully you'll put more information about that. But no, I saw, what's his name? It wasn't for the Pope, but I saw him pretty much bowing to Israel. What's his name? What's the boxer's name? Floyd Mayweather. I'm like, man, he's got to go along because poor thing. I don't even want to talk about him, but I mean, he can't read. He just has money. He's good at what he does and he has money. And he's not going to lose that money because there's nowhere he can go from there. Because he didn't even bother to, I don't even know if he has an issue, but to educate himself. Most folks don't have a clue about Crowley. He popularized gay sex and sex with boys. Yep. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this out loud. With boys, he advocated for younger and younger, and he quoted saying, hold on, all magic is ritual conjuring of spirits. Yep. They use these things called caches. There is a hex bag. Basically, it always has some type of animal bones in it that they offer ritually, and they use it as a bag to bless you. That sounds crazy. But yeah, again, that and man, I don't even know if it's a video that I even want to make, honestly, because it's just really disgusting. But the basis of all this gender ideology, and what they were doing to babies, the tests and stuff that they would perform on them, in order to convince us that children are into sex at a young age. Yeah, I don't even know if I want to even get into it. I don't even know if I can stomach all the research because it's stuff that I've obviously, I just don't know. But I know it's important, but yeah, he definitely did. He definitely did. And again, and this is going back to what I was saying earlier, people do not know the origins of their belief systems. They think it's no big deal. We definitely in the times of the Tower of Babel that Nimrod was trying to dream of doing. They're rolling out digital ID at 250 airports, and U.S. Apple approved of it. Yeah. It's coming fast. I see that there's a lot of countries that are definitely opposing it, which is good. They're like, "No." Um, but I don't know if there's enough people that are going to say no. Because once again, there's a lot of people that refuse to even acknowledge that the Bible is true. So they have no idea what's coming. They have no idea about the mark of the beast system and about not being able to buy or sell unless you have the mark, that is going to come to the rich and the poor, the small and the great. And so they hook themselves up to all this technology. Not knowing. I mean, there's companies that have already rolling out, a lot of the biometrics and getting implants in the forehead and the hand and, doing eye scans and all kinds of stuff. And there's people that are happily jumping on board with it. But yep. And AI is getting stronger and stronger. Man, I wish I could show y'all. Are y'all gonna have Neo in your house? Are y'all gonna let him come in? Hold on, let me see if I can. Man, where would I find that? Hold on, y'all. Let me see if I can. Cause I've got to be able to pull up pictures and stuff for you. Because some of the stuff I need you to see what I'm talking about, and I don't know where to find it. But anyways, I'll talk while I try to find out how to pull it up. Neo, he's a robot. He's a chore performing robot. He's going to come into your house. He's going to cook and clean, and he's even going to dance for you. And guess what? If there's a task that he doesn't know how to do, you can call an AI specialist and he can teach him how. He can teach the Neo robot how to do it so that he can perform it for you. Are y'all gonna let him in your house? He looked just like the iRobot, for real. He looks just like iRobot, but with kind of like a cloth material on him. This is some crazy stuff. This is some crazy stuff. And what's even the crazy part is how fast they are able to pick up human actions. That's the scary part about it. They're going to be able to mimic everything that we do. There's got to be a way to. They need to give me my old app back because I don't know how to work this. I'm sorry, y'all. I really want to show y'all stuff. But yeah, he ain't coming in my house. I know that. I know that. With this weather manipulation, like in Jamaica, they did that on purpose so that they can bring in smart cities like the wildfires in California. They turn it LA, San Francisco, San Diego into smart. Yeah, pretty much. And it's not a coincidence that all of these natural disasters are happening in places where they're having the smart cities. And it's not a and I did a larger breakdown on Patreon, but it's not a coincidence that 1 month before the hurricane hit Jamaica, that their UN Prime Minister was talking about the budget that they needed in order to go forward. Not $100 billion a year this man is requesting. And they had put into place, if y'all haven't, if you haven't seen it, they had put into place where they would receive X amount of funds if there was a disaster, say for instance with a hurricane, but there were certain stipulations with it. There had to be a certain amount of damage. I'm sorry, not a certain amount of damage. The hurricane itself had to hit a certain it had to have a certain intensity. And this particular hurricane hit out. Now, hurricanes like that happen, of course, but they don't happen often to where it's reaching 185 miles per hour and all that kind of stuff. And they have technology to where they found out that they're able to redirect hurricanes towards a certain location. So no, I do not think it's a coincidence. Just like I don't think Maui was a coincidence. And like you said, California, all these places, once again, that have signed on to be smart cities. I also don't think that it's a coincidence that a lot of these airports are, I'm not even talking about the canceling of flights. That's something different, but they are cutting out a lot of destinations. These planes are only allowed to go certain places. And like almost every day I see a new airport say, okay, we're not going to this place and we're not going to that place. And so I think what they're trying to do, I hate to say it, but it's going to come to the point where they're going to cut out, the ability to travel. But yeah, it's crazy stuff. If you want police arrest videos from Louisiana, you will see them find those bags on people that a lot of cops stopped opening them because the voodoo vibes. What? Oh my goodness. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good at all. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't understand the cherry pickers. It literally says word for word. It's an abomination. Yeah. Yeah. But that's the hill that all these people are willing to die on. There's so many different, that's the one that they advocate for. That's the only thing that they care about. You should read 300 Goals for the World for Freemasonry. It's over 300 years old. It explains in details their plan. So many things have been accomplished verbatim. It's specific. Yeah, I mean, I'll put it on the list. A lot of these Freemasonry goals have come into fruition. There's so many people that have written books and they list out what these people want, and I mean, they checking them off. I mean, you're doing a good job. They're doing a good job checking off their list. Inside the documents, it speaks of driving a wedge between peoples of races and different colors. They must fight among themselves because united they outnumber us, and if they become aware of our plans, yeah, Yep. And that's why the race war is so heavy. And like we were talking about at the very early part of the show, you've got these people even acting a fool um at the funerals. So this whole fatigue thing where everybody's coming up with black fatigue and rap fatigue and stuff, that stuff is serious because it also plays into a lot of this agenda. And what people do not understand is when they're acting a fool out here like this, they are very, very swiftly. I mean, the comments get so nasty. They get so ugly, and it's like, oh my goodness, we are all we're all brothers and sisters. But this is what they want. But I absolutely feel, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I absolutely feel the whole, especially like with the rap fatigue. I don't know if you guys have seen that, where people are coming out saying, like, I do not fool with today's rap music. And I don't know if you guys listen to it or whatever, but one of the main people, okay, so they're tired of the murder music. They're tired of the twerking music. One of the people that they were calling out was Meg Thee Stallion. They claim, she made this love, supposed to be a love song for her new man, and it was nothing but twerking and shaking monkey. They said they're tired of watching, excuse my language, they're tired of watching Meg Thee Stallion shake her monkey, is what they said. And I can't this music in 2000s because I could not stand the music today. It's way too much. Like, I get it. I had this type of music growing up, but it wasn't this much. There was at least some people, you know, that weren't there were love songs. There weren't all it wasn't all this vulgarness. Everybody wasn't doing it. But yeah, I think again, I think it's a tool being used to drive a wedge. Um, Surely they will unite and take us from our homes and kill us in the streets. Ooh. I mean, I don't know what to say. Oh, that's what the rest of the quote is. Yeah, we need to. We need to. It's crazy because people will war against their own people in their neighborhoods and do all that kind of stuff, but the elites that are messing everybody over, they ain't touching them. They're not speaking not they're not speaking against them at all. Not speaking for them at all. It also speaks of destroying the nuclear family, weakening men so they are less likely to revolt, establishing money built on debt, taking over institutions, etc. It's one of my favorite reads. Yeah, yeah, we definitely can see a lot of that going on. They're coming after the nuclear family tough. It's got to be something with it. People not paying attention. All the things that they're trying to destroy, it's got to be something with it. Originally, I wanted to be something like a professor that taught on the world religions and Western esotericism. After about a decade of research, I realized how prevalent and very real the stuff was. Yeah. Very, very real. Very real. Um, yeah. And actually, I think world religion, I had to take a lot of classes on world religions in school. And you can definitely learn a lot. You can definitely learn a lot by doing a compare and contrast, which a lot of people just don't. Um, I heard, and I hate to say it, it was Ravi Zachariah, and I know he died, you know, um, disgraced. But I remember him saying once that if you think that all religions are the same, then you have the intelligence of a cockroach. Um, yeah, there's no way that you can read with any type of discernment and think that they're all the same. Similar, but not the same. And I think in me studying a lot of these different religions, I mean, I don't know, it just makes, to me, it just makes the Bible even more true. Because you see all the things that were talked about. You see all the idol worship that was happening, like in the Old Testament. You see all that being played out in these different world religions. Um, yeah. And esotericism, yeah, that's just that subject is so deep because I mean, really what you're looking at is the religion of Lucifer with these mystery schools. You see exactly when the Bible talks about him wanting to be like the Most High and, exalt himself over God. You see exactly what he did in order to be cast down, or I guess what his thoughts were. Um, yeah, it's some deep stuff. Very, very real. Very real. I couldn't deny a creator anymore because even the filthy secret societies acknowledge he's there. Yep. Yep. I mean, even science does. I hate to say science because I'll say science so called, but if you follow science, you'll see that they do not have an explanation as they cannot justify why there's no creator. And if you look at how the world came about, you realize that there's no other way that it could have came into fruition because evolution doesn't have an answer for origin. They have an explanation for um I mean barely anything. It depends on what you're talking about, micro or macro, but as far I wouldn't even say I don't think they have an answer for anything, to be honest. Because I think that the kinds that were here, like the owls and the ravens and all that stuff, I think that they in themselves, when they were created, had the DNA to create the different species. I don't think there was an evolution, but that's neither here nor there today. I probably have something like 6 terabytes worth of information and research on the occult from over a decade of educating myself and traveling places to see things in the real life. Wow. Got to be some amazing, amazing sights. Yep. AI is very, very creepy. And the thing is, the creators of AI know it's creepy as well, but they continue to create. I mean, they can't stop now. But so many of them are coming out saying we done messed up. This is evil what we have done. Can't go back. They cannot go back. I even saw one guy was saying that all of these creators of the different software companies were hearing from the same demon, that they were admitting that they were hearing from the same demon. So once again, remember, you can't defeat facial recognition and biometrics with IR blocking sunglasses and highly reflective materials like jackets and hats. Oh, you can defeat facial recognition. Oh, that way. How much does that stuff cost? Guess I haven't looked it up. What's up? What's up? How are you? Let's see what this name is today. What? You always got a name. Too funny. Too funny. Hope all is well with you. Said, if you ever leave home, research flock safety. It's one of the dozens like that, but one of the largest in the world, everywhere from Walmart, Home Depot, Taco Bell, streetlights, police use it 24/7. Oh, yeah. I feel like I know all too well about it. Yeah, flock safety, license plate readers. They claim that they're using it because obviously they want to deter crime. But I'm pretty sure there's a violation of the Fourth Amendment in there. And even to the point where they no longer have to have probable cause to pull you over or anything like that. They're just scanning plates. And like, I mean, I get it, because I watched a lot of crime, you know, body cams and all that kind of stuff. So I get how they're using it in some instances where, they might be looking for a murder suspect and whatnot, and the person's fleeing and they catch them on the flock camera and they're able to locate them. I think that's all great. But when you're doing it to ordinary people, and you're just able to, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a violation in there somewhere. But yeah, we're not going to be able to go anywhere without them knowing exactly what we're doing, who we're with, what we're buying. I mean, shoot. Look at all the cameras. I mean, even when you go into Walmart or, certain grocery stores or whatever, they have the cameras in the aisle. As soon as you walk into the aisle, it starts recording. And yeah, you might be deterring theft in some way, but at the same time, I mean, you all have been my business. One thing I learned from studying ancient and current different world religions is that there's tons of crossover, and a huge amount have a flood myth. Oh yeah, for sure. And that is why that's why they always try to make the argument that the Bible is copied, is because it's literally a mirror into these other religions. And like you said, almost every continent has a flood story. And there's very minuscule differences. Might be differences in names, but they all saying the same thing. And so again, for some people, they'll say, well, I wonder why that is. and others will just write it off as, like I said, a copy. They just copying. Agreed. That's what they want. Separation and division. They can separate into bodies. I'm not fooling with you tonight. Y'all so silly. Current elites are quoted saying they spent millions on the culture war to divide people because if they were united, they could demand anything they wanted. I don't know if I should bring this up. People might get upset, but remember when Kanye said that slavery was a choice and people got very, very upset at him? I can understand why they got upset, but on the other hand, I can understand what he was saying. At some point, I just don't know if these people were outnumbered in order to be taken over, like they were. I mean, if they, I don't know. I guess I wish I could see into that point in history to see what it was that made them get on the boat or whatever the story is. I know some people say that didn't happen or whatever. I don't know. I haven't really looked into that part, but how did they get you? Did they outnumber you with guns? Did they outnumber you with people? Did they come in speaking niceties and y'all thought y'all was friends and they were there to help and then and got hemmed up? I just don't know. I just don't. I guess I don't see us being outnumbered like that. I just don't see it. Evolution came from the occult. Yep, many of the establishing parties speak of spirit writing to hash out the ideas of details of evolution. Oh, really? Yeah, when I researched like the founders and all that kind of stuff, people that started putting together, which came way before Charles Darwin. Um, yeah, I did see some occult ties. Again, these demons are clever. These demons are very clever. IR blocking glasses on Amazon are like $14. A reflective jacket, 20 to 35. A reflective hat, 5 to 10. Oh, extremely affordable. I'd wear it everywhere. Okay. Yeah, I have to check into it. It's a shame we got to do all that, but they say flock safety tracks you up to 9 times a day alone, just that one system if you are out and about. And there's dozens of systems like it. Yeah. It's so sad. Whatever's coming is coming fast. That's all I can say. The stats about slavery crush a lot of people's theory on it. Such a small amount of people were actually slaves. Most folks crying about it don't even have ties to it. Yeah, I know. But they make that it's weird because they make that their identity, and I don't know. They kind of use it to not move forward. Um, yeah, too much, too much. Um, I felt like there was something I wanted to address, but I can't think of what it was. Um, but I hope everybody's doing well. I see that, they just opened the government back up, what, about a day ago, 2 days ago? I knew a few people that were furloughed. My dad was one of them. My brother-in-law is one of them. I'm just, I guess I want to see what actually got passed, because the issue was, of course, the budget, and the Republicans were saying that the Democrats had some crazy, crazy stuff in the budget. I mean, they were paying for like lap dances in different countries. They were paying for like lady boys in certain countries. They were paying for stuff that the government really had no business in. And I'm not surprised at all, because a lot of, the budget was from under Biden's administration, and we know that he was into some weird, weird things, especially with the little kids. And so I'm actually just a little worried to see what actually did pass. Um, yeah, what they actually agreed on. But I saw that they've actually been coming out with a lot of different emails, I guess, recently. I don't know. I heard a weird one about I heard a weird one where the information came out about Trump and Bill Clinton. And I guess Trump was on his knees for Bill Clinton. I don't know if that's true, but I know a lot of emails been coming out trying to, I guess, implicate Trump in the Epstein files. But I also have heard that a lot of the emails that came out showed that Epstein actually hated Trump. And he had a very, very hard disdain for him, just like the Democrats do. And it was because Trump did cut him off after he learned what he was about. And so I really just don't know what story to believe. I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know if Trump is this guy that, actually found out and really hated what was going on, or if he was one of the ones that was all into it. I just don't know. But what they did allow to surface was that a lot of these Democrats, and I'm just saying that because that's what side of the party they were on, and they knew about what Epstein was into, and they still conversed with him and text him and partied with him, and a lot of that information is coming out now. So we might be getting closer and closer to some of the truth coming out. I know that some of the ladies that were in on that were victims of him are still gathering their information and looking to come forward. So I don't know if that stuff is still up in the air or if they're just pulling our tail. I don't know. But I think it is just, someone was like, well, no one ever talks about Clinton. And that's right. Nobody ever talks about Bill Clinton. Not only was Bill Clinton a Rhodes Scholar, he also went to Harvard. A lot of these people have ties to Harvard. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Let me pull this up because Harvard has a lot of heavy ties. And I know I showed y'all kind of their occult past. But a lot of these secret excuse me, a lot of these secret societies and stuff, they went through Harvard or they went through Yale. A lot of these Illuminati members went to Harvard. John Adams, which we know was up to no good. Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Robert Oppenheimer, the guy over the Manhattan Project, John F. Kennedy. I know he straddled the fence. George Bush, Barack Obama, Ketanji Brown Jackson, the one who doesn't even know what a woman is, but she's sitting on the Supreme Court. I know there were a lot more. Where's that website where I found them at? But a lot of 8 US presidents, 188 living billionaires went to Harvard. 162 Nobel laureates, 48 Pulitzer Prize winners, 7 Fields Medal. I don't know what that is. It's a mathematical award for people under 40 years of age. 252 Marshall Scholars. What is that? A postgraduate scholarship for intellectually distinguished young Americans. Rhodes Scholars, 369 of those. I've talked to y'all about the Rhodes Scholar. These are the people that they grab them up, they put them into place, they send them out into different areas to pretty much recruit. Bill Clinton was one of those people. So you got a lot of people that are in some really top positions that went there. And then they take these people, they train them up, and they put them into key positions. But nobody ever talks about Clinton. Clinton slips under the radar. He was in the Gate About Pizza. You know what I'm talking about? What was that message that I had? Sorry, I'm trying to think. Some lady said that, shoot, I wish I could get to my screenshots. I had stuff I could pull up for you all. He was also part of the MK Ultra program. They used him a lot in sending the beta sex kittens. He had a lot of dealings with those. Yeah, just some crazy stuff. But anyway, y'all. Let me see. So the occult has roots in basically everything. The father of rocketry, Jack Parsons, Crowley, and the creator of Scientology were all close friends and did rituals together. This is untaught history. Yeah. Because this is, yeah. Because these spirits, they tell them about this stuff. They get them involved with this alien technology. And I mean, even Albert Einstein claimed that he claims that his inventions used to come to him in dreams. But yeah, Parsons and Crowley had a weird ritual together where they were trying to drudge up I can't remember what they called him at this time, but kind of like the Omen child. We are living in different times. Trump is the most investigated politician ever. If they had something solid, they would have released it a while ago. I think maybe it's something that doesn't paint him well, but not anything huge. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't know why they would be holding on to it if they hated him so much and there was something on him. Yeah, it's just really weird. It's just really weird. Would have been used to it if so. Epstein probably knew that Trump was a plant or a mole. That could very well be it. Yeah, they said that he hated him because once again, everybody around him knew exactly who he was and what he was doing, and they were all down for it. Mm-mm. We will release the Epstein files. The files are fluff, nothing in them. Don't ask questions. Okay, we are just kidding. Both times we will release a tiny bit, but it's still fluff. We swear. I know it, right? Again, too many big names connected to him. They just had a was it JP Morgan that just released some information? I don't know if they are the ones that released it, but they found, hold on. Ooh, I'm trying to see what that article was. They had found a bunch of accounts that were showing to be linked to him. Okay. JP Morgan processed $1 billion for Epstein over 15 years. Let me see what this article says. JP Morgan Chase handled the processing of more than $1 billion for Jeffrey Epstein over the course of 15 years, despite internal concerns about his status as a sex offender and financial activity, according to a new report by the New York Times. The Times cited internal bank records, sealed deposition transcripts, other court documents, and financial data, as well as interviews with people who had knowledge of Epstein's relationship with the firm. JP Morgan has since said that its relationship with Epstein was a mistake and would have been discontinued if they believed he was involved in an ongoing sex trafficking ring. Okay. All right. Okay. Listen, Epstein had accounts at JP Morgan worth more than 200 million and played a role in helping the bank land similarly high net worth clients. That's why they didn't say nothing. He was bringing them money. He was bringing them money. He was bringing them clients, including Google co-founder Sergey Brin, as well as many introductions to world leaders and helping broker. Listen, JP Morgan, we know who you are. We know your connection to the 13 bloodlines. Like you think you're gonna you think they think we're stupid. They weren't gonna mess that money up. They weren't gonna mess that. And speaking of Yale, I bet they were doing a lot of yelling during their during their hazing rituals. You're so silly. That's hilarious. A lot of prestigious people went to Yale too. Do you remember Bush Sr. and the Israeli plot to off him that became national news no one speaks of anymore? If you're talking about, okay, so they have a clip where they claimed it was the day that George Bush Sr. died, and he's sitting at the table, and it's like a whole bunch of people are there. It's like, I don't know if they're world leaders or what. There are a whole bunch of people there, and then he starts, I don't know if he starts throwing up or convulsing. I don't know what he starts doing, but his wife runs over and has a napkin and she covers his mouth. And so they're saying that that's the day that he actually died, but yet, of course, they paraded him around or paraded somebody around, excuse me, as him for many years after that. Is that what you're talking about? Let me see if I can look it up. But I wonder why they would want to. I mean, why would they want to take him out? Oh, okay. I found something. It was Operation Bramblebush. Was an Israeli plot to assassinate. Oh no, this is something different. Why would they put Bush's name up there? Oh, that's why. Okay, never mind. That was a plot to kill Saddam Hussein. But no, you have to tell me a little bit more about that because I don't think I know what that is. Yale is the bridge to hell. That's the nasty rumor that Epstein helped create Bitcoin. Oh, there's a nasty rumor, really? I wouldn't be surprised. He said, no, I was talking about the Mossad whistleblower when he was a president that blew the lid on there going to be an assassination attempt. No, I can't say that I heard about that. But aren't they all in cahoots together? I guess I don't understand why they would want to um, take him out unless he just knew too much. Okay, I found something. Did Mossad plan to kill Bush in 1991 in Madrid? A congressman and former Marine I knew believed it. Oh, okay. It says that it was the Israeli Mossad spy agency hatched a plan to kill President George Bush Sr. because he would not bow to Israel's demands. And they wrote a book about it called The Other Side of Deception. No, I hadn't heard about that. There is an evidence that in 1991, an Israeli undercover team planned to assassinate U.S. President, the U.S. president. The intended victim was George Herbert Walker Bush. Why did they give him that many names? The first person to write of the plot was a former 11-term Republican congressman from Illinois, Paul Finley. He writes and explains the plot. Finley writes that the U.S. Secret Service had released a warning that Elements of Israel's spy agency might target Bush when he went to Madrid for the opening day of the peace conference to be held that year. According to Finley, a former Mossad agent named Victor Ostrovsky, I don't know, y'all, who had written a book exposing Israel's spy agency, told a group of Canadian parliamentarians that he had received secret intelligence suggesting that the Mossad hated Bush and support for Vice President Dan Quayle might lead to an attempt on the president's life. Okay. No, I hadn't heard of that. Um, they they were going to plan a false flag operation that they would pin on the Palestinians. They kidnapped 3 Palestinian militants from Beirut who were to be the scapegoats, took them to Israel's Negev desert and held them in communicado. That's crazy. Oh, shucks. It says that reports after the assassination plot was eventually canceled, the 3 Palestinian prisoners were terminated. They don't give a daggone. They don't care. They just be killing off people. Oh my gosh, they just kill off people. Oh, they are so disgusting. You know what's funny? I sorry. The last comment I saw was George Herbert, the pervert. Joking, I'm done. But that's the first thing that this, or the last thing this article is saying he was a horrible man, a pedo, a skull and bones, psychopath, MK Ultra director, which he was, mass murderer. The entire Gulf War against Saddam was his setup, a member of the conspiracy to kill President John Kennedy in Dallas, and worst of all, CIA director. Oh, you know what's also crazy is that one of the people that Woody Harrelson's dad claimed to have part in the assassination was JFK. But I think he tried to write it off because he said it and then he tried to take it back as though he was just acting crazy or saying something crazy. Many of those celebrities and elites are snitching on each other. They need to. They need to. They need to. But what I don't think should happen is that they get off or get, their sentence lowered or, a lesser punishment just because they tell. Because these people are in on it and they're okay with it. Everything that goes down until stuff starts hitting the fan and they want to back away like their hands aren't dirty. Nope, lock them up too. There's a video of Bush giving a briefing on it and the Secretary of State. Oh no. Oh my. No, I didn't know that. A lot of people spill the beans on their deathbed. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. I mean, I guess we're gonna see, if more people start telling. I guess we'll see. Yo, in this same article, they call Bill Clinton a liberal, black pandering Democrat. My goodness. My goodness. Oh gosh. People crazy. But no, we'll see. We'll see how many. What's sad is that a lot of people, that are not in on it, they lose their lives. with these people playing games. I think I'm gonna post. Sorry, I was thinking about something. Hold on, let me look at some of these comments and then I'll write what I was gonna say. Bob Marley's killer spilled the beans and said it was a CIA job and he used pufferfish venom in his shoe. My goodness. And they're so clever with it too. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing. And can puffer you know what? I mean, can puffer fish venom be traced? These people are crazy. Pufferfish contains a potent toxin called tetroxotoxin, which is a highly lethal and can cause paralysis and death if ingested. This toxin is found primarily in the fish's organs, especially in the liver and ovaries, and there is no known antidote for its effects. My goodness. And that's what's crazy. You could just be anywhere. You know, they could spike your coffee. They can do all kinds of stuff. Who would make that specific of a story up? I know, right? I know, right? Fun fact, they claim a 3006 killed Charlie and MLK. Okay, you got to put me up on what 3006 is. I don't know what that is. But what I was going to say is I was rewatching my video about the elites and them drinking the red substance that has life in it. And it reminded me of this article that I saw the other day. And this is the reason why a lot of these people have no problem just taking lives and all that is because they're not human. And that was one of the things that the lady in the video, Arizona Wilder, was making note of. And like I said, this lady drops names and she's pretty much telling all the people that shapeshift. And I think I'm going to do a shape shifting video here soon. Because I had just seen an article the other day and this guy, he's talking about how his wife shapeshifts into a snake at night and tries to bite him. And she managed to bite him once, but most of the time he would wake up just in time before she would bite him. And I guess he ended up sending her home to her parents. But I think I brought that up to say that, yeah, a lot of these people are not even human. So they have no regard of life. They never found any evidence like the bullet fragments with MLK, but they said it was a 3006. When I kill elk at 450 yards with a 3006, the bullet exit is large enough to stick my fist through. Oh my goodness. It would make a human head explode, and 3006 is a bullet caliber and a rifle type. Oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah, wouldn't we be able to see that? Because the pictures from MLK's assassination, I don't even think there was any blood around him. If I'm yeah, well, I remember the photo of them on the balcony and he's got all the people around him and they're pointing and there was no blood around him. Well, let me look again. Let me look again. So I would think that he would, I just don't. I can't tell if that's his jacket or something else, but it looks like his jacket. I don't see no blood. He said, "Damn, a snake bite reminds me of the Garden of Eden." Yeah, but I mean, I hear that you have to be a high level witch in order to shapeshift. I mean, I don't know what all that entails, but I don't know. I think I'll save my thoughts for the video, but that's just crazy. Just imagine waking up and because you're almost about to get bitten all the time. She would have had to move out the very first night. Like there wouldn't be no other. She almost bit me a couple more times. No, sir, no, ma'am, no ham. You gotta go. As soon as I find out that this is what you're doing at night. Both were small caliber rounds for sure. Pistol, something like a 22 or 556 3006 is used to hunt huge animals like elk, moose, etc. Okay. Um, yeah, I know nothing about guns and stuff. That's crazy though. No disrespect, but can these high level at least shapeshift into a bad bee? Because they look horrible. Just joking. I don't know. I've heard some crazy shape shifting stories. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone shape shift into a snake. I mean, besides in Sleeping Beauty or Maleficent, she was a dragon and she shape shifted into a serpent. But I've heard of people shape shifting to like leopards. I think I've heard a story about that. Um, this Arizona water lady said that she's seen um like the queen and all that shapeshift into a reptilian. I'll show you the clip. I don't think they're gonna ban it, but she she was saying that they don't even when they wear robes to the rituals, they don't even wear anything under the robes because they're gonna shapeshift as soon as they taste blood. And so yeah, I guess they would burst out the clothes or whatever if they had them on. I don't know. I don't know. Well, anyways, y'all, let's see. Lizards live below us. Yeah. Mm. And apparently on this earth. Yeah, it really is. He said this is some spooky stuff straight out of a movie. It really is. And again, I always say, but it's almost hard to believe. Um, the only issue is that so many people have the same story, and it's different time periods, it's different places. And it's like, yeah, I guess you can be feeding off of each other, but I really don't think that you are. And I honestly don't want to see it for myself to see if it's true. I don't, you know, because she was explaining that I guess their look is so terrible. And that's the reason why they're able to pull this. Because obviously, you know, the people have to be terrified in order for them to get what they need to get out of the bread stuff. And so when they do this shape shifting and then they look at you, that is what causes the terror. I mean, I can imagine, just imagine if somebody were like standing in front of you, seeing a regular person, all of a sudden they shapeshift into a doggone reptile. Heck yeah. I can see how they get scared. And yeah, so that's what causes the terror to come. And then that's when they take them out. That's when they, you know, kill them and then consume what they need to consume. I live near one of the largest military bases in the nation. Soldiers told horror stories of products they worked on. The town lure was don't go out at night, you'll become an experiment or lizard food. Yeah. See, like that kind of stuff, I would go AWOL for real. That's just not good. Yeah, they wouldn't find me in the morning. I'd be The only issue is that they have people everywhere, and so it's almost impossible to hide. Yeah, it's almost impossible to hide. This is off topic, but my little cousin says hi and he enjoys your live stream. Oh, I appreciate that. Now he's saying, and speaking of female, I can't talk. And speaking of female reptiles, he'll be their dragon slayer. I mean, listen, that's funny though. But no, I really appreciate that. And hello to him too. Or yeah, yeah, he said hey. Yeah, it's gotta be some crazy stuff going on out there. But all right, y'all. I'm gonna wrap up this live for tonight. I thank each and every person that joined and supports the channel, supports the videos. Again, I will have a new video for you soon. Either tomorrow or Tuesday, and we will go from there. Continue to put, if you got any topics you need me to cover, of course, I create my little list and I work down it and I work in other topics that I already have on my mind, but definitely want to be able to get topics that you are interested in onto the list as well. So make sure that you're doing that. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye.